It was on November 13th, 1974, was when Robert DeFeo, where he said against his own will, strong forces told him to kill all 6 members of his family, brothers, sisters, and parents. It happened here in the quiet town of Amityville, Rhode Island. Amityville Horror has soon known become one of the most famous incidents of paranormal activity ever recorded. It would inspire a book, a successful series of Hollywood films. The accounts of the young Lutz family being tormented by demonic pigs, plagues of flies, and green slime oozing from the walls terrified readers and moviegoers, all the more because the label of the story was true. And we are here in beautiful, quiet Amityville Harbor, where everybody knows the legendary house where the Amityville Horror took place. Now, it was a real thing. It wasn't just a movie. It was something that actually happened and went down on Long Island in Amityville, New York. And the house does still stand and people do reside in it. But because of the history, there's been changes that have been done to it. They're not too keen. Nobody really wants people coming up. I mean, they have done a seance here back in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe. And it was, I believe, a newscaster from Channel 2 News at the time sat in on it. Tourists used to come around from all over the place. So they made some changes, but they're still there, the remnants of it, and it is still where it should be. And yes, people live there. Whether it's haunted or not, I don't know, but well, there we go. And there it is. That is the Amityville Horror House. Now, you can tell by how the front door is on the side, unlike all the other houses here. It's the only house that's situated like that. And you'll see from the side by side, this being the original picture, and coming up being one from online, how the front sunroom and the windows on top are exactly the same, even with the garage in the back. And even though that the landscaping has changed, you can see from the aerial view, everything is pretty much the same. Situated like that. And then right there and there. Although they changed the windows from the half moon, crescent moon to those windows, because that's what made the house stand out the most. But right here is where it all went down. Right here is the location of the Amityville Horror House. One of the most famous, horrific things that ever went down, and that had a Hollywood movie made after it too. We'll get from another perspective. We're coming up to it. I'm just coming up to the stop sign. The first sign that something was terribly wrong in the Suffolk County coastal village of Amityville came to around at 6:30 p.m. when a frantic local resident named Ron Butch DeFeo Jr. burst into Henry's bar with a shocking story. "You gotta help me," he yelled. "I think my mother and father have been shot." Several of the bar patrons immediately rushed to the house, where they hit with a stench of death. DeFeo's mother and father were both shot in their beds. Worst, still 4 of the children had been slaughtered as well. One of the men, Joe Yeswit, called for Suffolk County Police with awful news on the arrival. A search of the house confirmed the worst. Every member of DeFeo's family, save for Butch, were dead. Victims were Ronald DeFeo Sr., 43, Louis DeFeo, 42, and 4 of their children, Dawn, 18, Allison, 13, Mark, 12, and John Matthew, 9. And right here, where is now Blue Tea's Pizza, is where Henry's Bar once stood, just blocks away, not even, just a walk away from where the house was, where Robert DeFeo Jr. came in, went into the bar, and said, I need your guys' help. I think my parents have been shot." Where a group of them then presumably went back to the house to go look in and saw that the parents had been shot. Where a phone call then was made to the Suffolk County Police Department, where upon investigation they went upstairs and found all other 6 members of the family shot in their beds. Here now is a pizzeria, but once was the spot where it all came together, which was once Henry's Bar. Now, the thing that goes on about the murder was that everybody, all the members of the family, were still sleeping in bed. Nothing showed that they were dragged back and they were put back into bed. Everything happened while they were asleep in bed. And the fact of the matter was that the reason you might be like, okay, so that's what happened. You know, he got him in bed. He used a 12-gauge shotgun. That is a very, very loud gun to use. And for not a single member of the family to wake up after the first shot, but after 3 shots, nobody to wake up, for him to be able to walk through the house point blank and do that is what the true mystery is. What really happened on that night? It was obviously, it was gunshot wounds. Was Robert DeFeo, was he possessed? He said he was possessed by spirits, that the house was built on Indian burial grounds, which on Long Island we had a lot of Indian tribes and all, and I'm sure as people came in and everything else like that, I'm sure it's a lot of different places that houses and buildings and places have been built on Indian burial grounds. But is that what drove him to it? Was 23-year-old Robert DeFeo Jr. possessed by ghosts? Was that the case? No one's ever really found out. Is the house truly and honestly haunted? Haunted to the fact where it could take a boy who loved his family. According to the articles I've read and all, he was extremely close with his siblings. Him and the dad didn't get along too well, but was it enough where he had to take them all out? Would he have done that solely on his own? That is the mystery. And that is something that has continued to go on from Long Island. Probably, well, in my mind, the living here is the most famous murder that's ever happened on Long Island. The most famous situation that's taken place on just a small local place. And it was horrible. It was just so catastrophic that in 2018, people still know this story and it still lives on. So that was my little video. I hope you guys liked what I was doing there. I'm learning as I'm going. So do me a favor, if you could, make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Any questions, I'll try to answer. Look for me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter now at Jeff Now and Again. And I'll be seeing you guys. I would have done more outside and seen if I can get more permission to go do stuff, but it is freezing outside and standing outside is not an option at the moment. So from my car here once again, I sign off and I bid you all adieu.